The hardest truth is, most people are walking around right now, at this very moment, waiting for everything to change. They're waiting for the perfect opportunity, the right time, the ideal circumstances. And here's what I want to tell you today. Everything already changed. It changed the moment you decided to watch this video. It changed the second you acknowledge that something needs to be different in your life. But here's the problem. You haven't recognized it yet. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. How long have you been saying someday I'll start that business, someday I'll get in shape, someday I'll write that book, someday I'll have the life I actually want instead of the life I'm tolerating? If you're nodding your head right now, if there's this uncomfortable recognition happening in your chest, good. That means you're alive. That means you're aware. And awareness is the first step to absolutely everything. Now, I've spent decades studying human potential, working with people from every walk of life imaginable, and I'll tell you something that might surprise you. The people who transform their lives aren't special. They're not more talented, more intelligent, or more deserving than you. They simply understood one fundamental truth that I'm about to share with you, and once you really get this, I mean really understand it at a cellular level, your entire world shifts. Here it is. You are not stuck because of your circumstances. You're stuck because of your paradigm. Now, before your eyes glaze over thinking this is some abstract philosophical concept, stay with me. Your paradigm is simply the collection of habitual thoughts and beliefs that run your life on autopilot. It's the mental programming you receive from your parents, your teachers, your environment, your culture. And here's the kicker. 95% of your daily behavior is controlled by these subconscious programs. You're literally living someone else's life and calling it your own. Think about that for a second. The reason you procrastinate, the reason you self-sabotage, the reason you keep hitting the same ceiling over and over again isn't because you're lazy or broken or lacking willpower. It's because your paradigm, your subconscious programming, is running a completely different agenda than your conscious desires. It's like you're driving a car with one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake, wondering why you're not moving forward, and then hilariously blaming yourself for not trying hard enough. Let me give you a practical example. You decide you want to earn more money. Consciously, you want financial abundance. You set goals, you make plans, you get excited. But buried in your subconscious is a belief you picked up when you were 7 years old. You heard your parents fighting about money, and you formed the belief that money causes stress and destroys relationships. Now, every time you get close to a breakthrough, your paradigm steps in like an overprotective parent and sabotages your progress to keep you safe. You don't even realize it's happening. You just think you're not good at making money, or the timing wasn't right, or the market's against you. This is why willpower doesn't work. This is why positive thinking alone doesn't work. This is why you can read every self-help book on the planet and still feel stuck. You're trying to change results without changing the paradigm that creates those results. It's like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic and expecting the ship to stop sinking. But here's where everything changes. Once you understand that your paradigm can be changed, once you realize that you're not a prisoner to your past or your programming, a whole new world opens up. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become a creator of circumstances. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do this, step by step, in a way that's so simple you might even laugh at how obvious it is. First, you need to identify your limiting paradigm. This requires honest self-reflection, and I'm not going to lie to you, it can be uncomfortable. Ask yourself, what do I keep trying to achieve, but somehow never quite accomplish? What pattern keeps repeating in my life? What story do I tell myself about why I can't have what I want? Write these down. Get them out of your head and onto paper, because once they're external, they lose their power over you. You'll start seeing them for what they are, just thoughts, not truths. Second, and this is crucial, you need to understand that you can't change your paradigm through force or struggle. You change it through repetition and feeling. Your paradigm was formed through repetition. Every time your parents said money doesn't grow on trees, or people like us don't do that. It was reinforced. Every time you tried something and failed and told yourself, see, I'm not good at this, you strengthened that neural pathway. So now you're going to use that same mechanism, but intentionally. Create a new thought, a new belief that represents what you actually want, not what you think is realistic or what other people expect of you, but what you genuinely desire. And here's the key. You don't need to believe it yet. You just need to repeat it. Every single day, multiple times a day. Write it on cards, record it in your voice. Say it out loud while looking in the mirror. And most importantly, feel it. Emotionally engage with this new thought as if it's already true. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a real experience and one that's vividly imagined with emotion. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, that sounds like woo-woo nonsense. And you know what? That's your paradigm talking. That's the skeptical program running to protect you from change. But let me tell you something about the mind that's not woo-woo at all. It's neuroscience. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity. It literally rewires itself based on your repeated thoughts and behaviors. Monks who meditate for years have physically different brain structures than people who don't. Athletes who visualize their performance improve almost as much as athletes who physically practice. This isn't magic. This is how your brain works. Third step. Take action from your new paradigm, not your old one. This is where most people mess up. They do the mental work, they repeat their affirmations, they visualize, and then they go out and take the same actions they've always taken, driven by the same fears and doubts. You need to ask yourself before every decision, am I making this choice from my old paradigm or my new one? Am I playing it safe because of a limiting belief? Or am I stepping into the unknown because I trust the person I'm becoming? Here's a simple way to practice this. Every day, do one thing that scares you. Not recklessly, but intentionally. Make that phone call you've been avoiding. Have that difficult conversation. Start that project. Post that video. Whatever it is that makes your palms sweat and your heart race, that's your paradigm trying to keep you small. Do it anyway. Because every time you act in spite of fear, you weaken the old paradigm and strengthen the new one. Fourth, and this might be the most important part, understand that results come last, not first. This is backwards from how we usually think. We believe that when we see results, then we'll believe in ourselves, then we'll feel confident, then we'll take more action. But that's not how it works. You must believe first, act from that belief, and then, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly, the results appear. Think of it like planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, you trust the process, and then one day you see the sprout. Your new paradigm is exactly the same. Now, let me tell you something that might frustrate you at first, but will ultimately set you free. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to know every step of the journey before you take the first one. All you need is clarity on where you want to go and the willingness to start moving in that direction. The path reveals itself as you walk it, but you have to start walking. I've watched people transform their entire lives in a matter of months once they truly grasp this. People who were broke become wealthy. People who were lonely build beautiful relationships. People who felt stuck in dead-end jobs create thriving businesses. And it all started with a decision. A decision that everything changes now, not someday. A decision to stop living from past programming and start living from future possibility. Here's what I want you to do right now, today, before you go to bed tonight. I want you to write down one thing, just one thing that would be different in your life if you were living from a new paradigm instead of your old one. Maybe you'd wake up an hour earlier to work on your dream. Maybe you'd speak up in that meeting. Maybe you'd invest in yourself instead of making another excuse. Whatever it is, write it down, and tomorrow morning, do it. Not perfectly, not with complete confidence, just do it. Because action creates clarity, and clarity creates momentum, and momentum creates transformation. You see, the beautiful thing about all of this is that you already have everything you need. You don't need more information. You don't need another degree or certification or course. You need to activate what's already within you. You need to align your conscious desires with your subconscious programming. You need to become congruent. And when you do, when your inner world matches your outer actions, life becomes almost effortless. Opportunities appear, people show up, resources materialize. Not because the universe is magically rewarding you, but because you're finally operating at your full potential instead of a fraction of it. So here's my challenge to you. Drop a comment right now and tell me one thing you're going to change today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. What's one action you can take in the next few hours that represents your new paradigm? Because the moment you declare it publicly, you increase your commitment to yourself. You make it real. And if this resonated with you, if something clicked while you were watching this, subscribe to this channel. Because we're going to keep going deeper. We're going to keep peeling back the layers of what holds you back and what propels you forward. We're going to build a community of people who refuse to settle, who understand that everything can change because everything already has changed. Remember, you're not trying to become someone new. You're trying to unbecome everything you're not so you can be who you actually are. Your authentic self, the one beneath all the programming and conditioning, is magnificent. It's powerful. It's unlimited. And it's been waiting for you to wake up and claim it. Everything changed the moment you decided it would. Now prove yourself right. Take that first step. Build that momentum. Trust the process. And watch as your entire world transforms, not because circumstances change, but because you did. That's where real power lives. That's where freedom exists. And that's exactly what's available to you right now, in this moment. Tell me what you learn in the comments section and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Now go. Start. Become. The life you want is waiting for you to step into it.